Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that runs our digital world, serverless workflows. We're going on a journey from these super simple, automatic reactions all the way up to what I like to call the grand symphonies of code.
So think about it. The last time you were online, you found something you wanted, you clicked buy. And that's it, right? It feels so simple, almost like magic. A couple of days later, a box shows up at your door. But what on earth is actually happening behind the scenes of that single click?
Well, that one little click kicks off a whole cascade of events. It's like a hidden symphony. Your credit card has to get charged. The warehouse inventory needs to be updated. The shipping department has to get notified. You need to get a confirmation email. And hey, maybe the marketing team even gets a little ping to know what you bought. Each of these is a completely separate service, and if they don't work together in perfect harmony, you get chaos.
So how do we manage all this potential chaos? It really boils down to a fundamental choice in how we build these things. Are we just setting up a simple knee-jerk reaction, or are we actually hiring a conductor to lead a full-blown orchestra?
This slide really breaks down that choice perfectly. On one side, you've got the trigger. That's your basic if this, then that logic. Super simple. But on the other side, you have the conductor, which we call orchestration. And that's more like a master plan, a blueprint, that directs every single step of a complex process to make sure it all happens exactly in the right order. Let's start with the simple trigger. This is your go-to for the easy stuff. You sign up for a new website, and bam, a welcome email is automatically triggered and sent to you. It's a direct, one-to-one reaction. It's clean, it's efficient, and it's absolutely perfect for those simple, isolated tasks.
But for our online order, that's a whole different beast. That's where orchestration shines. With orchestration, you have a central conductor that's in charge of the whole show. It doesn't just trigger one thing and walk away. Nope, it actively manages the entire multi-step process, the payment, the inventory, the shipping, across all those different systems, all to accomplish one single business goal, getting that package to your door.
Okay, so having a conductor sounds like the perfect solution, right? Problem solved. But what happens when one of the instruments hits a wrong note? Because in the digital world, it's really not a question of if things will go wrong, but when. And you absolutely have to plan for it.
First, let's look at what we call the happy path. This is the dream scenario, right? Everything works perfectly. The payment goes through without a hitch, inventory gets updated, shipping gets the green light, and you get your confirmation email. It's just a beautiful, clean, straight line from start to finish.
And this is the key. The happy path is a nice idea, but the real world is messy. Networks fail, services time out, databases crash, errors happen. In any system that's even a little bit complex, you have to assume that failure is just a normal part of the process. It's a guarantee.
Now let's make things even more interesting. What if the failure doesn't happen instantly? What if the warehouse system waits, a whole day to notify the shipping partner, and that's when it fails? By then, your payment has been taken, the item is marked as sold, but the whole process is now just stuck in limbo.
This is what we call a long-running workflow. It's a process that doesn't just happen in a flash. It might need to pause for hours, waiting for some nightly batch job to run, or it could even wait for days, maybe waiting for a manager to finally click approve on an expense report. This stuff is super common in business, and it makes handling errors a lot more complicated.
And this is where a good orchestrator shows its real magic. Just look at this recovery path. Okay, so the payment and inventory steps went fine, but then, bam! The shipping API failed. A smart conductor doesn't just throw its hands up and quit. No, it starts working backwards. It triggers an undo to refund your payment, and then another undo to put that item right back into the inventory.
This whole undo process has a technical name. It's called compensation logic. But really, it's just a set of rules that automatically reverses the steps that already worked when something later on breaks. Why does this matter? Because this is what keeps the entire business process consistent. It's the difference between a happy customer who gets an automatic refund and an apology and a very angry customer on the phone wanting to know what happened to their order.
So, we've got a conductor, and it knows how to clean up its own messes. That's great. But how do we, as humans, actually see what's going on? How can we watch this incredibly complex dance as it all unfolds? This is all about visibility.
And this slide just nails the difference. On the left, you've got your typical developer logs, cryptic function IDs, error codes, stuff that makes sense to an engineer, but is basically gibberish to your customer service team. But on the right, you have logs that actually tell a story in plain English. Order number 5679, payment processed, or even more important, shipping notification failed. Anyone in the company can look at that and know exactly what happened. And that's why this is so powerful. This kind of observability isn't just for techies, it's about the health of your business. It means you can find and fix errors in seconds, not hours. And crucially, it means when a customer calls, you can finally, confidently, answer that one critical question: where is my order?
All right, we have covered a lot of ground here, from simple triggers to some pretty complex failure recovery. So how do we put it all together? How do we build something that's truly elegant and manageable, and conduct a great symphony instead of just a lot of noise?
This quote gets right to the heart of it. If you're not careful, these workflows can turn into this tangled, interconnected mess that nobody understands and everyone is terrified to change. We call this spaghetti code, and it is an absolute nightmare for any business.
So how do you avoid the spaghetti and conduct that beautiful symphony? Here are 4 key principles. 1. Keep your workflow small and focused on one job. 2. Model your code after your real business processes so it's easy for everyone to understand. 3. Create logs that tell a business story, not just a technical one. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, plan for errors and compensation from the very beginning. It can't be something you just bolt on at the end.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. When you look at all the complex processes running your business, all the things happening behind every single click, are you hearing a well-conducted, elegant symphony, or is it just noise?